So, it's pretty striking just how fast AI has become, well, part of the everyday business toolkit.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about email, social media.
Yeah, even building websites
Hmm.
in what, the last 6 months? Maybe a year, tops?
Uh-huh. It feels like it went from being this distant idea to, like, something people are using daily almost overnight.
It really does. But as we're grabbing all this automation, are we maybe overlooking something fundamentally human?
That is really the central question we need to grapple with, I think. And it takes us right to what we're exploring today.
Okay.
The efficiencies are obvious,
Yeah.
the capabilities AI offers, especially in communication, you can't deny them. But we do need to think really carefully about what might be getting lost, perhaps unintentionally, in this push for automation.
Totally agree. And that's why we're doing this deep dive. For you listening, we're zoning in on the insurance world.
Hmm.
Specifically, why, even with all these fancy AI tools popping up, just picking up the phone is still so critical for insurance agents. You could almost call it the last frontier for that real person-to-person connection.
That's a good way to put it.
So our mission today, drawing from Travis Gensler's piece, The Final Frontier, why insurance agents must protect the phone call revised, is to really get under the skin of why this, let's face it, traditional communication method is still vital, maybe even more vital now, with AI everywhere.
Yeah, and what's interesting is seeing that initial excitement, which is understandable, right? Using AI for all sorts of communication.
Of course.
Email gets super efficient. Social media can reach more people. Building a website is suddenly way easier. So the temptation is definitely there to just apply it everywhere.
Right. It feels logical. Hey, let AI handle the simple stuff, free us up for the complex problems. But, Gens points out in his analysis, there's a real risk if we lean too heavily on AI for all the ways we talk to clients. It's not just about saving time. It's about potentially losing those really important human bits in the conversation.
Yeah, and if you look back historically, we kind of see this pattern sometimes, don't we?
How so?
Well, there's this initial rush towards new automation, maybe without fully thinking through all the consequences. Gensler makes a comparison to earlier waves of automation where perhaps the human element got a bit undervalued.
Uh-huh.
And we're sort of seeing echoes of that now with some agents trying out these early AI voice systems for phones.
And it seems like those first attempts with AI voice haven't exactly been smooth sailing.
Not universally, no. The feedback mentioned in the source suggests a lot of agents who jumped on board are now, well, quickly backing off.
Really? Why?
The main complaint seems to be about the customer experience just dipping. People mention the AI voice sounding unnatural, kind of robotic, and noticeable lags in the conversation.
Oof, yeah, that doesn't sound great. Delays kill conversations.
Exactly. And this raises a really important point about how customers feel about these interactions. Gensler argues that putting an AI voice on during normal business hours, especially if you're not super clear about it up front, it can accidentally send a bad signal. Like maybe efficiency and cutting costs matter more than actually connecting with the client.
That's a subtle but really powerful point he's making.
Yeah.
It's not just what you say, but how the interaction feels.
Precisely. He does make a distinction, though.
Okay.
Offering an AI option after hours and being totally transparent. Hey, you're talking to our AI assistant. That serves a purpose, right? Accessibility when humans aren't around.
Sure, that makes sense.
But just swapping it in during the day without much thought, that's where the concern lies. And it brings us back to the phone call being this, like, special space for real connection.
Yeah, the last bastion, as we said.
Right, because think about it. We're surrounded by templated emails, canned text messages, those chat bots that pop up everywhere.
Everywhere.
The live phone call really stands out now. It's a chance for actual human back and forth. And consider why someone calls their insurance agent. It's usually not trivial.
No, definitely not. Maybe they've had an accident, or they're confused about their policy, or maybe something exciting happened, like buying a house, and they need coverage.
Exactly. And in those moments, those really significant moments, what people often need isn't just information from an algorithm.
They need empathy.
Yes, empathy, clarity, maybe just the reassurance of hearing a calm human voice. Gensler really highlights how the phone lets agents use their tone, their listening skills.
Actively listening, yeah.
And critically, their ability to actually solve problems together right then and there. It's all about building trust, especially when clients are feeling scared or confused or even excited.
That connection, that trust, It seems like that's the foundation for everything else.
Absolutely. That ability to connect genuinely through your voice, it's directly linked to building relationships that last. It creates trust, loyalty.
Which ultimately means more long-term value for the agent, right?
Exactly. It shifts things from just being a transaction to being a real relationship.
Okay, so this leads into why Gensler is apparently such a big proponent of what he calls the pure agency phone system. Now, just to be clear, we're not plugging a specific product here.
No, it's about the concept.
Right. Understanding the why behind it, based on the source material, that seems important. He sees it as a way for independent agents to stay relevant, stay competitive, but maybe more importantly, to keep that human touch.
And what's really interesting in his view is that this kind of system isn't just about routing calls from A to B.
Okay.
It's seen more as a tool to, well, improve all communication, make the agency run smoother internally, and crucially strengthen those client relationships we've been talking about.
So communication, workflows, and relationships.
Yeah. Those are the things Gensler believes will help agents not just get by, but actually thrive as AI gets more powerful.
It sounds like it's about, how did he put it? Owning the conversation.
That's the phrase, yeah. Owning the conversation, building the relationship, controlling the client experience directly.
Yeah. Through the phone. Keeping that direct line unmediated by, well, current AI.
Exactly. Because right now, AI just can't replicate that depth, that nuance, that genuine empathy you get from a real human voice in a complex situation.
However,
Yeah.
there's a but coming, isn't there? What about the future?
Well, yeah, we have to look at the potential future Gensler describes. And it could be pretty disruptive.
How so?
He paints this picture where AI voice agents become basically indistinguishable from humans. And a lot of people think that's not science fiction anymore. It's on the horizon.
Oh, okay.
If that happens, the economic pressure on insurance companies to adopt these AI agents on a massive scale could become really intense.
Right. You can see the business case, unfortunately.
It's a sobering thought.
Mm-hmm.
Gensler talks about the potential impact. Less need for human service staff, maybe shrinking call centers.
These are some sales roles for simpler products.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it. 24/7 availability, no errors, theoretically, at least no sick days, no PTO, no HR stuff.
The economic argument, on paper, looks pretty strong.
It does, and that's why Gensler's analysis feels like such a crucial wake-up call for agents right now.
Okay, so what's the core message? What should they do?
His advice is clear. Definitely use AI. Use it to make your back office run better. Automate the repetitive tasks that don't involve talking directly to clients,
But
but fiercely protect those human moments, especially the phone call. Treat it as the bedrock of your client relationships. Don't let that go.
because the future isn't AI or humans, it's both.
That's exactly Gensler's point. He frames it as AI plus authentic human agents. It's about finding that sweet spot, blending the efficiency you get from tech with the empathy and real connection only a person can offer.
And those who try to just outsource their voice completely?
They risk becoming obsolete, frankly. They risk losing that connection and maybe losing their place in the industry long term.
It really drives home his final point, doesn't it?
It does. It's a very strong warning against jumping too quickly into AI voice for regular business hours without really thinking through the impact on your value, your client bonds, your future.
Yeah.
He basically suggests that once you diminish that genuine human connection, getting it back might be incredibly hard, maybe even impossible.
So, if we boil it all down, the takeaway seems pretty clear.
Yeah,
AI, yeah, it's got tons of benefits, brings efficiencies,
for sure.
but the human voice over the phone, that's still a massive differentiator in insurance. It's fundamental for building those trusting, lasting relationships.
Absolutely. Which leads to an interesting question for you, the listener. As AI gets better and better at mimicking human interaction,
Yeah.
what other parts of just being human, beyond just the sound of our voice, might suddenly become really valuable, highly prized even?
That's a good one. What else becomes brilliant when the basics can be faked?
Exactly. It's worth thinking about how you, maybe in your own work or life, are striking that balance between using technology and holding on to that genuine human connection.
Definitely food for thought.
Yeah.
As communication keeps changing at lightning speed, that ability to connect authentically person to person, it seems like it's not going away. If anything, it might matter even more.
Well said.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.